literally debut. It's got to be when she plays Caitlin Clark. So they obviously ended up debuting at All-Star Weekend because Caitlin didn't play when they were in Chicago, and Caitlin didn't play, or Caitlin's not playing in this game, so they're debuting at All-Star Weekend. The plan was to literally go...
The 2025 WNBA All-Star Weekend was supposed to be a crowning moment for Angel Reese, a meticulously crafted spotlight event where she would step into the center of the basketball world, launch her Reebok signature shoe, and claim a slice of the attention that has consistently orbited Caitlin Clark. Everything about the timing, the location, and the marketing had been designed with surgical precision.
I'll never know peace. At least when it comes to the WNBA space. It was this ad that Angel put out, and I don't know if this is part of a larger campaign where it's going to be similar themes in similar places, but because of where...
The All-Star Game was in Indianapolis, Clark's home city. The crowd would be stacked with her fans. The television audience would be primed for her presence. Reese's team believed this was the perfect storm for maximum impact. But then the storm never came. In fact, the whole thing backfired so spectacularly that it became a cautionary tale about what happens when you try to borrow someone else's star power instead of building your own. From the moment Reese's "I'm in your city" campaign went live, the internet could smell the desperation. Billboards went up around Indianapolis, the social feeds filled with her videos claiming territorial dominance, and Reebok rolled out glossy shots of her Diamond Dust and Maybounds colorways for the Angel Reese 1. The whole thing felt less like an organic rise of a star and more like a hostile takeover attempt. Except the person she was supposedly taking over from wasn't even on the floor. Caitlin Clark had suffered a groin injury just days before the All-Star Game, sidelining her from the marquee event. That one piece of bad luck for the league turned into a complete unraveling of Reese's weekend ambitions.
The WNBA All-Star Game is, and because of who plays on the Indiana Fever in the home city of the WNBA All-Star Game, it's going to raise some eyebrows, let's say.
Without Clark, the 2025 All-Star Game ratings dropped by a staggering 36% from the year before, falling from a record 44 million viewers in 2024 to just 2.19 million. It wasn't just a dip, it was a gut punch to the league's momentum, especially because the decline happened in Clark's own city, in an event deliberately engineered to feed off her presence. The drop wasn't confined to TV ratings either. Ticket prices for the All-Star Game crashed almost in real time after the injury news broke. What had been a $121 get-in price plummeted to $64. For an event marketed as the pinnacle of the season, with the biggest stars gathered in one place, the secondary market's message was blunt. Without Clark, the demand wasn't there. For Reese, the optics were even worse. Her territorial walk in your trap, take over your trap messaging suddenly looked hollow. It was one thing to try and stake a claim when the league's biggest name was active and drawing record attention. It was another to plant your flag in her city when she wasn't even playing. Fans didn't see confidence. They saw opportunism. Social media was ruthless.
Angel, me-bound, prayer, Reese. You only relevant because you keep bringing up my precious CC. You want to pull up with your Billboard Reebok ad in Indiana talking about...
She can't even promote her own shoe without using Caitlin Clark, one viral tweet read. Another joked, "There are more photographers than fans, LOL." The commentary cut deeper than just playful trolling. It reflected a perception that Reese's visibility was tethered entirely to her association with Clark, and the numbers backed it up. The three-point contest and skills challenge the Friday before the game, events that Clark wasn't participating in, still managed to pull one. 32 million viewers, a 90% increase from the previous year. Why? Because even in street clothes, Clark was there, sitting courtside, and people tuned in just for the possibility of catching a glimpse. That's the kind of gravitational pull Reese's team was banking on. The problem was, it's not transferable. Clark's ability to fill arenas, sell shoes, and drive ratings comes from years of performance, authenticity, and connection with fans. Her Nike Kobe 5 Pro collab sold out in minutes, with resale prices topping $600 for a shoe that retailed at $190. Not because Nike manufactured hype, but because the demand was real.
Stop it! You out of there! You hear me? My precious CC don't be in no trap. Real talk. You hear me? At the end of the day, she don't do those type of things. Yes. You hear me? Don't put that on. Don't put that with her name at the end of the day.
Industry insiders predict her upcoming signature shoe could generate $150 million in revenue when it drops in 2026. That's not PR spin. It's a reflection of the market responding to a player it genuinely loves. Reese tried to shortcut that process. She believed that by aligning her shoe launch with Clark's presence, without putting in the same years of building equity with fans, she could tap into that energy. When Clark was removed from the equation, the entire scaffolding of the campaign collapsed. Even Reebok seemed to tacitly admit this dependence. In the Netflix docuseries Power Moves with Shaquille O'Neal, a candid conversation captured Shaq talking about how Reese needed to be dressed in Reebok when she played Clark. The implication was obvious. The brand's marketing for Reese was designed to function in Clark's shadow. Without Clark, there was no plan B. This wasn't just a strategic error, it was a branding disaster. The All-Star Weekend should have been a showcase for Reese's personality, skill, and ability to draw interest on her own. Instead, it became a weekend-long reminder of the gap between her manufactured hype and Clark's organic star power.
One of those things where it's like, it's very clear that one side is absolutely trying to milk whatever rivalry there is. Whatever rivalry there is, it is one side trying to do every...
This story was about the implosion of a marketing campaign. Part 2 is about the deeper consequences and how the 2025 WNBA All-Star Weekend stripped away the last layer of illusion around Angel Reese's positioning in the league. What was exposed wasn't just a bad weekend or a failed product drop. It was the harsh reality that Reese's fame has been built like a house of mirrors, reflecting light that isn't her own and distorting reality until it convinces her followers there's more substance there than truly exists. That house collapsed the moment Caitlin Clark was unavailable. The timing could not have been worse for Reese's Reebok push. The Angel Reese one was supposed to be her big ticket to commercial legitimacy, complete with 2 colorways, Diamond Dust and Maybounds, that were hyped as the next big statement in women's basketball footwear. Reebok rolled out the full court press. Splashy billboards in downtown Indianapolis, coordinated social media videos, influencers wearing her shoes, and the now infamous I'm in Your City campaign.
Like, is this really necessary? And shouldn't Angel Reese be able to market herself at this point without invoking or even, insinuating some sort of attachment to Caitlin Clark? Because But
instead of landing like a flex, the messaging read like a stunt, and the public saw right through it. The optics were brutal. It was supposed to be a territorial takeover, yet the territory in question belonged to an injured player sitting on the bench in street clothes. Without the on-court head-to-head drama between Reese and Clark, the campaign was stripped of all narrative tension. What was left was just a series of ads that looked like they were begging for validation. And when a product launch starts from a place of seeking validation instead of radiating confidence, it's already over. The market responded accordingly. Ticket prices for the game dropped by almost half. Ratings fell to pre-Clark levels. The buzz online was dominated by conversations about Clark's absence, not Reese's presence. Even among casual fans, the consensus formed quickly. This All-Star Weekend felt smaller, flatter, and less essential without Caitlin Clark. That's not a good headline to have your name attached to when you're trying to position yourself as a co-headliner. Meanwhile, Clark's commercial blueprint continues to be the gold standard. When she inked her 8-year, $28 million Nike deal, it wasn't just because she was talented. It was because Nike saw a proven draw, an athlete who could sell out arenas, crash ticket sites, and make a shoe fly off shelves purely by association with her name.
If I'm being honest about it, people say that moment was huge. It will live forever. That moment will live forever. But Caitlin Clark was on this trajectory already. And if anyone has benefited more from the attachment, at least from an attention standpoint,
the numbers tell the story. Her Nike Kobe 5 Pro collaboration sold out in minutes and now resells for triple its original price. That's not marketing fluff. That's consumer demand rooted in authentic fandom. Reebok and Reese tried to replicate that magic without putting in the same work or achieving the same connection. The result was a campaign that felt like cosplay, playing dress up as the league's alpha star without having earned the role. And if you need more proof, Just look at how even her own sponsor framed her marketability. In that Netflix Power Moves clip, Shaquille O'Neal, Reebok's big frontman, talked about dressing Reese in brand gear when she faced Clark. Not when she faced the league's other stars. Not for her own independent moments. When she faced Clark. Translation, the brand knows where the magnet is, and it's not in Reese's orbit.
Game went down 36%. That is a lot. That's more than a third from last year. Last year was over 3.4 million people, and it went down to 2.1. Now, you could say is
what makes this whole saga more fascinating is how much it reveals about the WNBA's current ecosystem. The league has been surging in attention over the last year, but that surge has been heavily concentrated around Clark. Remove her from a marquee event and the drop-off is immediate and measurable. That's not to say the league doesn't have other talented players. It does. But the gravitational pull is not evenly distributed, and Reese's All-Star Weekend flop is Exhibit A. And here's the thing about trying to siphon energy from someone else's star power. When that person's not there, you're left exposed. It's like being in a band where one person writes the songs, sings the hooks, and drives ticket sales. If they're out sick, you quickly find out who's there for the music and who's there for the star. For Reese, the answer was clear. Most weren't there for her. The performance side of this matters too. While Clark has built her reputation on elite shooting, vision, and the ability to elevate her team's play, Reese's on-court image has been dogged by criticisms of inefficiency.
for women's sport, that is still a lot of people, but at the same time, it really isn't a success because think about it. It's the only sport playing. It's the only game that's going.
Padding stats and struggling against top-tier competition without stacked rosters. Those narratives matter when you're asking fans to buy into a $1,000 sneaker. If you're selling aspiration, you need to be someone fans aspire to emulate, not someone they tune into highlight reels to mock. By the end of the weekend, the damage wasn't just in the sales numbers or the social media commentary. It was in the narrative cementing around her. Angel Reese needs Caitlin Clark far more than Caitlin Clark will ever need Angel Reese. That's not a rivalry, it's a dependency.
WNBA All-Star Game ratings have come out, and all I could think of right off the bat was 4 little letters. F-A-F-O. F around and find out. You bleep